declare this evening's meeting open and just advise that in regards to the city's live streaming policy that members of the public that are in the public gallery consent to having their video of them live streamed. Could I call upon Deputy Mayor to welcome us to country?
Thank you, Worship. I begin by acknowledging my elders past and present. Ngalak yini kuro ngala nois neji nonga boja. Nonga motjerper neji nane kwabarak nonga boja kurlong. From the beginning of time to the end, this is Noongar country. Noongar people have been graceful keepers of our nation for many, many years. Jinin Karajan Jerper neji were nonga boja galamaya border. We ask you look, listen, understand, and embrace all the elements of Noongar country. That is forever our home. Kaiwan Jung Unkot Jerper neji nonga boja darjli wangi nonga boja. Hello and welcome. My heart is happy as we gathered on country and meeting here on Noongar country.
It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all here, and before commencing proceedings I would like to acknowledge that we come together tonight on the traditional lands of the Noongar people and pay our respects to elders past and present. Could I call upon Councillor Wood to read the dedication?
May we, the elected members of the City of Kwinana, have the wisdom to consider all matters before us with due consideration, integrity and respect for the council chamber. May the decisions made be in good faith and always in the best interest of the greater Kwinana community that we serve.
Councillor Sargent, can you hear us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Attendance, apologies, leave of absence previously approved. Obviously we have Councillor Sargent attending remotely, and other than that there is Neil. I don't believe there's any questions from the public. 6.1 petitions. Council have any petitions to present? Presentations? I don't believe there's any deputations. Item 7.1, the minutes of the Ordinary Council meeting held on the 25th of June 2025. Is there any additional information?
Nothing further.
Council have any questions? Moved, Deputy Mayor, seconded Councillor Wood. Either council wish to speak? Put it to the vote. All those in favour? Against?
Aye.
Was that for? Motion carried. Declaration of interest. Does anyone have any declaration of interest to declare? No, nil. Request for leave of absence. Does anyone have any leaves of absence to request? So nil. Nothing on item 10, 11, 12.1. Will be dealt with at urgent and late business. Nothing at item 13. Item 14, 14.1, arts and culture strategy. Is there any additional information?
Just a couple of little changes.
Okay, Ms. Greaves.
Through you, Chair. On page 48 of, is it 46? Yeah, 48 of the agenda, so the attachments, we have listed reference to Befriend as a community group. We'll just reword that to say it's managing relationships with community groups, delivering art and craft activities in Kwinana. So switching from one organisation to all community groups.
Okay. Any questions from councillors? Councillor Brown?
Thank you, Your Worship. So there's a section where it talks about the different priorities and then how objectives and strategies related to those priorities are kind of mapped against different time horizons. So for example, page 22. Could the city describe how each of these items get plotted on those different time horizons? So I guess the execution of the key objectives and strategies in 25, 26, 26, 27, etc. What factors went into, I guess, how they were allocated to each time period? Because I think just looking at them, some immediately make sense as to why they might take longer with some groundwork required, but then others at face value might seem like they could be some quick wins. For example, strengthening the city's digital presence in arts and culture, which is currently listed at years 27 and 28, and then developing services and partnership to broaden cultural reach isn't until 29 and 30. So could we just get some insight into how, I guess, these things are plotted in those time horizons?
Through the chair, these are plotted through a number of factors. First of all, the priorities that have emerged through the process, so what we've seen as high priority versus slightly lower priority. I won't say low priority, but at a staged approach. Also, resourcing capacity over the 5 years with our staff of resources available to deliver the priority areas. So while some may present as quick wins, there might be a bit more work behind the scenes to go through that process. So it doesn't necessarily mean that we wouldn't have commenced the work in 25, 26, but it's looking at the deliverable time as well.
Okay, thank you. I had a follow-up question. Oh, a different question, actually.
Yep.
So there's a section where it talks about, I guess, current state versus aspirations for future state. I think, for example, page 61. And there's a reference to the use of heritage buildings as part of the arts and culture strategy. The existing state for the use of heritage buildings says low level of investment and activity in heritage buildings, and the future state's ambition says heritage buildings are actively used for relevant purposes, i.e. that maintain and promote the heritage value and associated stories. I'm just wondering, within, I guess, those constraints, is there still opportunity to use these heritage buildings in potentially new or different, like, creative ways? I think we've seen some examples where there's been some nighttime activations of some of these heritage buildings, which the residents was received quite well by residents. But with that wording, are we kind of putting potential use of these buildings in a bit of a box that might stop new audiences, I guess, engaging with them?
Through the chair, I would see that as looking at, it is predominantly around celebrating the heritage, but also looking at new opportunities to bring people in and understand the space through appealing activations. And a really good example would definitely be how Smirks is getting used more and more as a function location. So yeah, it's focused on heritage, but I don't think it would be putting this in a box. It would be celebrating and attracting new people into those locations to understand the history as well.
Thank you. And final question for me. I guess reading through the consultation and feedback process, which I'll just be a bit sneaky and say, like, I think it was very impressive, the extent of the consultation as part of this strategy. Awareness of what's on when it comes to arts and culture, I think, was a theme that came through the feedback. And I'm just wondering, through what's been put forward, is there kind of quick wins when it comes to potential advertising on kind of city streets or kind of immediately outside Kulin Arts Centre? Is that being considered as kind of in the short term? For example, digital promotion boards.
It's, look, through the chair, it will definitely be looking at short term and what we are doing and utilising the spaces like Kulin, which is fairly new to the city management, so how we're looking at the digital spaces, places like the Aquatic as well, where we do have digital advertising platforms up, and our street signage too. So really it will be continuing to bolster what's there and continue to improve it in the arts and culture space as well.
May I ask a question?
That's all right. 2 seconds, Councillor Sargent.
Through Mr. Mayor, through the chair. Just in relation to that one, that's probably one which is a work in progress as well. So that'll feed into some of our marketing and communication strategy in terms of looking at what's the opportunities to how we try and get promotion of a lot of the events and activities that take place, and looking at the various platforms that we can use to try and connect to people both within the community and then depending upon the types of programs, whether we can try and bring people in from outside. So this one's a bit of a work in progress to see how it develops.
Councillor Sargent.
Thank you, Mayor Feasy. On page 25, when there's discussions regarding a citywide calendar, is this looking at tying in, I guess, going from what Wayne was also just saying, the What's On platform that we have, that you could expand that to incorporate? And my second part to that question is your plan for this calendar to have that interactive component like City does at the moment in its process with What's On, that independent creatives can apply to have their support added to the calendar of events if they're running grassroots activities?
Through the chair, yeah, that's absolutely the plan, to continue the What's On app platform, and hope to encourage or to encourage more community groups and external commercial organisations that are running arts and culture events to use that platform further to advertise different activities. So it's not just city run programs, city run events and activations, but it's a more holistic approach of all organisations.
That's fantastic.
Anything further?
One more, thank you, Mayor Feasy. On page 50, there is a reference to a risk regarding the amphitheatre, where it talks about rain and fire risk. Could you just give me a little bit of context of that particular, how that came about?
Through the chair, that risk will be, I'll answer this in two stages. First of all, being an outdoor facility, any outdoor facilities will need quite comprehensive weather management plans, and that's in regards to the changing weather conditions, particularly with wet weather, thunderstorms, so on, and how we manage events. We obviously wouldn't want an audience sitting outside in dangerous weather conditions, so that will be one factor. And then the fire risk is also, like any facility, again, the surrounding trees, vegetation and emergency response approach with the design of the amphitheatre, how we manage any fire risks within the facility as well will be considered with the development of that project and the risk assessment of the project as a whole.
Thank you for looking into that. That's all for me, Mayor Feasy. Thank you.
Any other questions? Councillor Kearney?
In reading in it, regarding an idea for an art gallery, I was thinking, would Wheatfield House be considered for an art gallery to display local art down the future? It's just that it's going to be part of the Loop Trail. It makes sense to, that would be an ideal position for an art gallery.
Through the chair, could be an opportunity. I think we'd look at all locations as well. Wheatfield House is a beautiful spot, so we'd want to look at any options that we have for an art gallery.
For a brewery as well, Councillor Kearney.
I know it'd be ideal, but if we have to an art gallery, it'll be fantastic.
Any other questions? Councillor Penny?
Thank you. There was a lot of community members involved in the engagement and consultation for this strategy, and I was just at an event with some of them just previously. Once this is passed, will those community members who are engaged through the strategy receive a copy of this document and potentially a thank you note?
Through the chair, yeah, through the engagement process, we will definitely be looping back to make sure that any community member where we've got their contact details has been updated on the outcome and the strategy.
Any other questions? Would someone like to move the strategy? Moved, Deputy Mayor, seconded Councillor Penny. Deputy Mayor?
Yeah, thank you very much. The reports are quite comprehensive and it's exhaustive, and I'd like to commend the officers' work that's involved and the time they took to consult with the community for the input for the production of that final document. It's also a great document to read through and to follow, and I'm quite impressed by the way that we've used and integrated art and plus community with place-based images within that photograph to make it so that it becomes part of who we are and as a council moving forward, and a pride of place for when members of the community want to be able to read through it. It's an easy guide to follow, and I commend the staff for the report. Thank you.
Councillor Penny.
Yeah, I'd further like to commend the staff and consultant that worked on this document. Yeah, very comprehensive community engagement, and have worked hard to integrate all of the opportunities and considerations into this strategy. I think it provides a really solid framework for the future that we can continue to build upon, adapt, and yeah, as Councillor Wimar said, Deputy Mayor Wimar, that it's a solid document that we can follow, but it also creates scope to grow and develop initiatives. So yeah, well done, and looking to see how this unfolds. Should we adopt it in the next vote?
Anyone wish to speak against? If not, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour? Councillor Sargent?
Aye.
Against?
Aye.
Motion carried. Item 15, there is nothing. Item 16.1, Black Cockatoo Conservation Action Plan. Is there any additional information?
Nothing further, Mr Chair.
Councillors have any questions? Councillor Brown?
Thank you, Your Worship. So I think, yeah, there's quite extensive data that I'm sure that will be very useful for the city in the report. There's a particular section where it talks about, I think it's detection of populations that are foraging in certain areas of the city. And it describes, I guess, areas like with big properties like Homestead Ridge with a number of detections, and then it kind of shows Wellard Village with a bit smaller blocks but still patches of vegetation with less detections, and then it has an example of a densely residential area with 0 detections, which on one hand, I guess could be a bit scary to read up front. On the other hand, the report shows a number of actions that could be taken to really improve the situation for the black cockatoo population. So my question is, I guess when residents read this report and see things like that, which are quite kind of stark, what should they know about, I guess, the short-term actions the city are going to be taking off the back of this report that will be very visible in the community? And is there anything that the city could be working with residents on in the very short term with winter planting season, for example?
Thank you, through the chair. There's certainly things that we are already doing, and it will be about, I think, highlighting and messaging those as being connected to and being modified in that way to implement the actions. So in the recommendations, note there's no direct action that comes out of this report, but the fact that they line up, those recommendations in the report line up with actions that we're already taking. So the intent is to message that a bit better so that we align those, the visibility of those actions with the Cockatoo plan. Is that what you're looking for in that respect?
Yes, I guess part of the answer then is there's a number of actions underway which will feed into this, and that those actions will be visible to the community.
Yeah.
When it comes to the communication of the report itself, what's the communication plan for some of this information to, I guess, spread into the community in a very, I guess, digestible, easy to understand way?
Thank you. Through the chair, there isn't actually a communication plan that has been put together for that outcome at this stage. This was an information, essentially, document for council to understand what the implications are for cockatoos within Kwinana and how our activities are aligning with that recommendation. So this is really more about how our activities are being aligned in a way that supports the protection of the cockatoos. So it's not, I understand what you're saying, but that's not the intent of the item, but certainly something we can have a think about. Yeah.
Okay. And I guess with some of the existing initiatives being, for example, the seedling subsidy scheme that the city have recently ran, to feed into some of those schemes which already exist, I guess, and other guidance, is it possible to attach, I guess, the planting guide that is visible in this report for example, the food sources. I think there's banksia and the kind of the roosting type trees. So there's a very valuable list there, which I feel could feed into some of the existing schemes or be new kind of information to pass on to residents, especially those with larger blocks. I guess, is there intent to do that?
Yes, certainly. I think that's already what we are doing with those larger blocks. Certainly, in terms of looking at the protection of biodiversity within some of our semi-rural and rural properties, where we do have a program to protect the threatened ecological communities that has that alignment with protecting the habitat for the cockatoos, because that is already doing that, but it's not messaged in that way. So that is something we can look at and how we can incorporate that into those existing programs. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Otherwise, I think it's a very valuable source of information moving forward.
Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, thank you, Worship. I just wanted to, obviously, the importance of the city of Kwinana being predominantly an area where this species of bird is its main habitat. I just wanted to seek some reassurances for the members of the community and the people listening that with our activity and expansion and the growth in this community, that it's important that the environment is at the forefront of our thinking when we're looking about development. And I just wanted to get some reassurances for the public to say that, you know, as council members, we stand here and we ensure that, yes, we want our community to grow, we want our community to be reflective and a place for families to be able to come and grow, but also protecting that critical habitat and how we're maintaining, looking after the program and management of the black poverty population.
Thank you, through the Chair. Yes, certainly it is a high priority in all of the processes that go through land use planning and development. So the environmental protection agencies are heavily involved in determining and working with the local groups, as well as the city, and determining where the populations are and understanding how they interact with the environment. So each time a planning document goes through a review or is approved, there's a lot of work now that goes into proving up and establishing the habitat, the locations, and the vegetation complexes that support those species and how they're best protected. Of course, there will be clearing, there will be development, but a lot of it is retained and protected that's of high quality and high value within the urbanised areas. Thanks.
Any other questions? No, would someone like to move that way? Moved.
Yes, please.
Moved, Councillor Sargent. Seconded, Councillor Rouse. Councillor Sargent.
Thank you, Mayor Feasey. I just want to thank all of the stakeholders that, especially the team at Murdoch University, for compiling this fantastic data and resource, and the City of Kwinana's willingness and all of the team to support this vital conservation opportunity, and this information has given us, I guess, the building blocks to ensure that we can take proactive, correct, educated actions to support these endangered, very special birds that not only are a beautiful part of our environment, but have a very large cultural significance to the local Indigenous population. They're very special. I believe Arnie Millie was actually part of this document, and it's very powerful and wonderful to see the City of Kwinana choosing to support this. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Sargent. Councillor Rouse.
Yeah, thank you, Worship. Although this report is just for noting for the Conservation Action Plan, I think it's important that we that it is mentioned that we are one of the most important areas for black cockatoos in the Perth and Peel region, and we've heard from the question answered from the Deputy Mayor that the city is committed to the conservation of the black cockatoo and its habitat, and we can reassure people that this council, nothing is more, one of the most important and valued aspects of our community is the black cockatoo, which is signified by the crest that the mayor normally wears in a council meeting. Unfortunately, he hasn't got it on today. But that is forefront of one of our most valuable pieces of work in the city, and so it's pleasing to see that we are already implementing a lot of the actions that are in the plan, in our plans and strategies. And so yeah, I am therefore for the motion to note this, and let's keep the Carnaby's flying. Thank you.
Anyone speak against? No? I'll put the motion to the vote. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. There's nothing. Item 17. Item 18.1. Elected members mandatory training report as at 30 June 2025. Good to see that you've completed your training, Councillor Acker. Is there any additional information? Any questions? Someone like to move that way? Councillor Acker? Seconded, Deputy Mayor. Would either councillors wish to speak? Anyone speak against? Put to the vote. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. 18.2 monthly financial report 20 May 2025. Any additional?
Nothing further.
Councillors have any questions? Councillor Brown? Have you got the right one? Ask your question, you'll find out.
I'll jump in. So under the rate receivables section, it does mention that the outstanding rate balance for May stands at 8.58%, representing an increase from 4.37% this time last year. I guess considered in isolation, that seems quite high. Could the city address how the issues in collection are going to be resolved in the short term, and if there's any risks associated with the city having this high level of outstanding balance for May?
Through you, Mr. Chair. So the reason for the difference between the previous financial year and this one is because we migrated to a new rating system. And in the migration, obviously, it took time to do the setup, and then there were some delays in getting the notices out. And so the team have been focusing on getting out supplementary notices, picking up on changes to valuations, changes to other properties, getting that in. So the focus has been on that rather than sort of the receivables. They're now in that phase now and catching up on that. So that will be addressed towards the end. It will be picked up early in this financial year.
So no risk associated with that?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Would someone like to move that way? Move, Deputy Mayor, second to Councillor Rouse. Either councillor wish to speak? Speak against? Put the item to the vote. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. (18.3) Quarterly performance report, strategic community plan, corporate business plan, Q4, April to June 2025. Is there any additional information? Councillors have any questions? Someone like to move that way? Moved Councillor Wood, seconded Councillor Penny. Either councillors wish to speak? Anyone speak against? Put the motion to the vote. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. 18.4 accounts for payment for the month ended 30 June 2025. Is there any additional information?
Nothing further, sir.
Questions? Someone like to move that way? Oh, question?
Thank you, Your Worship. I've got page 232 on mine, but I'll just ask generally. There's a number of payments to do with union memberships represented. Is the way to read this that they're individual union memberships for individuals, I guess, or is the city maintaining union memberships?
What in particular are you referring
So there's the CFMEU Construction Australian Services Union, LGRCEU, as I think 3 of them. So just, trying to get an understanding, because it's not clear from the description if it's for an individual or if the city maintains those union memberships.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, those would be in relation to an individual. I can absolutely, categorically, hand on heart guarantee that we do not have a union membership.
Thank you. Another question I had was the emergency services levy that's represented for around 676,000. Is this for the previous year or the coming year or this year?
Through you, so it's done. So it's they're instalment payments. So it's for the year, but it's based upon previous months. So it's up to a certain point in time. We then get a report from DFIS, which we then go through. Check back against the rates that have been received, and then make a payment based on that.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. There was also a donation to West Cycle regarding a glyphosate presentation. Is there any more information on that? I guess not clear the organisation and the presentation, but maybe it makes sense.
Through the chair, the adjunct professor who did the presentation to the councils on glyphosate is not a consultant and didn't have the ability to, and actually didn't want to get paid for it, but he did suggest that as a recognition of him giving up his free time to spend with council, that we could make a donation of that value to West Cycle, which is something that he has a big involvement in.
Okay. Oh, cool, thank you. And just lastly, there's I guess there's always going to be the section in our kind of report around the credit card for the director of PSWMA. Is there still the intent in the future to add a descriptor to, I guess, why this payment section is here? Or is the individual line items? I think before there were some constraints around the way the document's put there, but I think reading it still, it's a bit unclear why some of those payments are appearing in our report.
Through Mr. Chair, it's very hard to do. This is a transaction report which just comes out, so we can't put any. It's hard to put further information into it because it's a description pulled from the general ledger. We could probably just make a comment in the report itself, just noting any payments in relation to Perth Southwest Metropolitan Alliance are done as a hold and refund. So we could make probably a comment in the report.
I think that would be useful. I think we're kind of all on the same page now, but anyone reading it for the first time may not be. Cool. Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, someone would like to move that way. Moved Councillor Kearney, seconded Councillor Wood. Any other councillors wish to speak? Speak against? Put the item to the vote. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. Item 19, there is nil. Nothing. Item 20. Item 21, we have an item of late and urgent business. Could someone move to accept the late item? Move Deputy Mayor, second Councillor Wood. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Motion carried. The item is in relation to the exec appraisal, which is an item that would be covered behind closed doors at item 25. Reports of elected members. Deputy Mayor. Councillor Acker. Councillor Brown.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just briefly, last night I attended alongside the Mayor, Councillor Rouse, Councillor Acker, the Story of Wellard event held in Wellard Village at the Wellard. Quite an awesome celebration of the, I think, 20-year journey for the development. The community and all different stakeholders has really brought that area of the city to where it is today. And as part of that, a book was developed called The Story of Wellard, kind of telling that story in writing and pictures. And I believe that a copy has been placed at John Wellard Community Centre as well as the local library for anyone who's interested in taking a look. And a number of people here have copies as well. But I just want to say, yeah, it was incredible to hear the journey that's taken place, and kind of just all around kudos to everyone involved in, I guess, in the project, in the community building to date, because it's just really impressive and inspiration to other areas of the city, and as well as other cities in general.
Councillor Kearney? Councillor Penny?
Thank you. I just prior to the meeting popped over to the preview of A Path of Fleeting Dreams over at Culin Arts Centre, and really encourage community members to get over there and check out that digital artwork. It's going to be open and up for engaging with all weekend. Also had the opportunity to attend the Bendigo Bank 10-year celebration on Friday night, and I've also been invited to sit on the Outer Harbour Community Liaison Group, and I attended that meeting middle of last week. Thank you very much.
Councillor Rouse?
Yeah, thank you, Worship. Nothing to report, but I did just want to make special mention to Jade McCallum, Officer of the City of Kwinana, who is in our gallery tonight, who has just left. We should have probably mentioned her. She's integral to part of our arts and cultural strategy and our arts and culture for many years in the city, and she will be missed, and I wish her all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rouse. Councillor Wood?
I've performed all those duties required of me. Thank you, Your Worship.
Oh, and Councillor Sargent?
Thank you, Mayor Feasy. Did you look up to the sky? I
No, 'cause
performed all the duties.
You're on the screen, so I keep looking down, that's why.
Oh, okay. I have performed all the duties required of me. Thank you.
There's nothing on item 23. Item mayoral announcements. Just briefly, I attended the commissioning of the HMAS Arafura, which is the first of the Arafura class patrol boat. 2 of which were constructed in South Australia, but 4 of which are being constructed in Henderson. It was a fairly interesting pomp and ceremony that went with commissioning of a naval ship. So yeah, it was certainly interesting to attend. What else have I attended? Various NAIDOC events since the last meeting. I also attended the Story of Wellard along with some number of councillors. Could I also just acknowledge the passing of Dulcie Morrow, a long-time member of the Kwinana Senior Citizens. She was president there for 25 years. Dulcie passed I think it was last week, the week before. And I think that is probably about all. There is one item of confidential business. Could someone move that we move behind closed doors? Move Deputy Mayor, seconded Councillor Acker. Put it to the vote. All those in favour? Against?
Aye.
Motion carried. So item 25.1, is it? Or is it 26.1? It's okay.
Sorry, it's just a bit slow.
This is 25.1.
25.1's on your screen now.
Okay. Behind closed doors, the council resolved to that council, one, note that the CEO annual performance review report for 24-25 period has been received as detailed in confidential attachment 1.1.1. Two, endorse the findings of the review and agree to the formal feedback to be provided to the CEO. The CEO has been considered to have met his key performance indicators. Three, endorse the performance criteria for 25-26 as developed in conjunction with the CEO as detailed in confidential attachment at Appendix 1. 4, endorse a step change of $10,000 to the base salary. In addition, as per the Salary Allowance Tribunal determination, endorse a 3.5% increase and a 0.5% increase in relation to superannuation increase to the total remuneration package. And 5, endorse that the contract expiry date be amended to extend for a full 5-year period to the 23rd of August 2030. Is that right? Deputy Mayor? We've already moved that. It's already done.
I would like to speak on the matter.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. It's a great honour and privilege that we acknowledge and commend the exceptional performance and leadership of our CEO, Mr. Wayne Jack, following the appraisal and most recent performance report. Over the past year, the City of Kwinana has navigated complex demands, balancing growth and sustainability, investing in infrastructure while staying grounded in community and responding to evolving needs of residents across all walks of life and all members of our community. These are no small tasks. They require foresight, collaboration, and most importantly, leadership with integrity. Our CEO has demonstrated all of that and more. Under the guidance, we have seen a strategic approach to service delivery that places community outcomes at the forefront. Whether it's improvements in planning and development, advances in community engagement, or strengthening of financial sustainability, the report clearly outlines a year of steady progress and achievements across all key performance areas. I want to particularly commend in the spirit behind the work and the leadership style that is consultative, transparent, and always mindful of the people we serve. And as elected members, we hear directly from our community about the lived experiences and the services provided by the City of Kwinana. What I can say is, based on the reports that I've received personally, that over the years it's a growing level of confidence in the way the city is being managed, and that is testament to the CEO's leadership. Our CEO's own commitment to this community is evident not only in the report but in the culture that has been cultivated across the organisation, one that embraces diversity, seeks continuous improvement and values partnerships with community organisations, local businesses and residents alike. I want to commend the CEO not just for the results but for the manner in which they were pursued with integrity, professionalism and a genuine focus on the long-term well-being of Kwinana and its residents. I'd like to also acknowledge the executive and staff across the organisation. This report reflects a team effort, but a very effective team needs a strong leader, and we have good leadership at the helm, and we have that in the form of Mr. Jack. Tonight I also want to acknowledge the way the CEO has worked closely and respectfully with elected members of Council. It's no secret that the dynamic between administration and council is critical to the health of any local government, and I can confidently say that working relationship we share is one built on mutual trust, honest dialogue and a shared desire to do what is best for the people of Kwinana. It is important to recognise behind this performance report is a capable and committed executive team, dedicated staff across departments, and a culture that encourages excellence. So to the staff of the City of Kwinana, thank you for your professionalism and efforts. But the leadership starts at the top, and I believe it's only fitting that we take this moment to formally recognise the exceptional contribution of our CEO, and thank you for your clarity, your tireless work ethic, and for always keeping the needs of our community at the centre of everything you do. As Deputy Mayor and as a proud member of this community, I offer my sincere congratulations on an outstanding year of leadership and performance. And the future of Kwinana is brighter because of the solid ground we can continue to build on today, and that is no small part due to your guidance and your vision for the future of this city. On behalf of the Council and in my capacity as Deputy Mayor, I offer my thanks and congratulations along with the Mayor and the councillors, my fellow councillors that are here with us tonight, for the excellent performance report and your ongoing commitment to the people of Kwinana. And we look forward to continuing this strong and cooperative working relationship in the year ahead. Congratulations, thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
Confirm, because it doesn't show it in that screen, I just want to confirm with you that moved, seconded and carried.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I concur. We look forward to the next 5 years, Mr. CEO. There is nothing further. I declare the meeting closed at 6:57.